Well, hi. So I have my voice back, kinda, and so I thought I would check in with all of you before the exam starts, because I know, and I would think, a lot of you would be getting nervous, and don't be, and studying really, really hard before your first midterm exam. And so I don't know how I can alleviate your anxiety, because I know everybody's nervous, and I do know that there has been some problems in APN 1 and APN 3 with some of the test taking and exam stuff. So I think we're lucky, because some of the glitches that they recognize with Blackboard, because all our core tests are kind of based the same, have been resolved for us. So we should have a really good experience, I'm hoping, with the exam. So as you all know, the exam opens up on the 23rd, which is Friday morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I just don't want to have my dates wrong, so I don't want to confuse you guys anymore. And so it closes on the 28th at 23:59. So don't wait until 10:30 on the 28th to be taking your exam, because I think then that's a little bit too late. So anyhow, when you take your exam, contrary to Angel, you're going to be able to see your score. And I want to let you know now that I am not going to entertain any emails about the exam, about the questions on the exam, about, oh my God, what does my score mean, during the time the exam is open, and that means until the 28th at 23:59. I think you need to give me time after the exam to look at the questions, to see if there's any changes that need to be made, and see how the exam went. So I won't respond to your emails. So I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying I'm not going to respond because you're going to see your score. And, you know, in the past we didn't have that option for you, so that it allowed us as instructors time to go over the exam, see if there was a bad question, see if a question was coded incorrectly. So we're not given that opportunity now. So, you know, I don't want panic to set in if you didn't score as well as you did, think you should, or whatever. I mean, certainly if during the exam you're having problems with your computer, if something freezes on the screen as usual, what you're supposed to do is stop the exam right where you're taking it, shut it down, send an email to Blackboard support, send an email to Alicia, and send an email to me. I need to know this. I don't need you to take screenshots, and anyhow, that you aren't supposed to be taking screenshots of the exam, and that is truly something, if found out, you could be disciplined. So just stop it. IT can find out so many things, and they can backtrack. You know, we're here to help you. So I just encourage you, when you do take the exam, to make sure that you have good internet access, and you have time to take it, that you're not rushed, that you don't have kids running around and asking you questions. It's your time to focus. There are 50 questions on the exam and 1 extra credit question. There are a few matching. There are multiple choice, and I think there's maybe 1 true false in there. And remember, there's only 1 best answer, and that's how your boards are set up, best answer. And make sure that you are answering the question as the best evidence in the guidelines, not what is done in practice. We teach best evidence and guidelines. So I hope you find the exam okay. I did send out an email last week when I couldn't talk about where to focus your studies, and that has not changed. So I think you'll all do fine, and I think, you know, everybody needs to take a deep breath. You have 75 minutes. And oh, that's the other thing. They did find out on Blackboard, contrary to Angel, I don't know, I didn't never take a test in Angel, but there was a timer that you could watch, and I think sometimes that's anxiety producing in and of itself. But in Blackboard, I guess every time you want to look at the timer, you got to scroll up. So it's been recommended that maybe you just have, you know, your cell phone or your watch or a clock so that you can monitor the time and make sure you write down the time that you started so that you know how much time you have. There are 75 minutes to take this exam. I think it's a little too long, but we'll see how it goes. And you can access your notes in your book, not Google up on the internet, because sometimes you don't get the right answer. But I will tell you, if you think you don't have to study, if you think you don't have to know the answers to this test, and can look everything up as you go, you're wrong. You won't have enough time to finish the test, and that's when problems arise. So anyhow, you know, put on your thinking caps if you've kept up with the lectures, you've done your reading. I think you're all just going to be fine. So I wish you all luck on the test. And like I said, after I review it, you'll have a chance to review the test. And then we'll go from there. Tests are, I look at them as learning opportunities. It tells you, hopefully, where you need to focus maybe some of your studies as you prepare for your certification exam. Certainly you can tell me it's a bad test. Certainly I'm not at fault, you know, it could be that, but these tests have been pretty valid and pretty reliable. So I just want you to know I all have faith in you and that you will do well. This week coming up, we'll have rheumatology, and Jenny Peters has, since she's certified in rheumatology, was nice enough to put together a lecture last semester for us in rheumatology. There's a lot of material in there as far as all these readings. Truly, I have them broken down, so you're not going to be reading until you can't read anymore, and then everybody will need glasses like me. Journal Clubs 1 and 2 will begin on any rheumatological problem, and I know Talia Hellman put out a little reminder from her and Angie, as you know, the journal clubs are starting over again with groups 1 and 2, just to kind of make the journal clubs a good learning tool for you. I think the biggest thing that I noticed when I read what she sent out to you was that, you know, please don't bring in studies. This is not studies. If they cite studies in it, that's okay, but you know, make these fun reads for all the group, and they do need to be an article. They can't be just a website or a little video. Certainly those you can use for your own growth, but they do want an article, and it should be an article, an evidence-based article from a journal. So they've been having fun. I think they're learning a lot from working with you, and I hope you're learning from your peers, and I hope everybody else is able to access the good articles that they are putting in the journal article sharing folder for everybody else to have. So, excuse me. What else? Scholarly projects. I know that your outlines were due in there, and please, you guys, you're going to get feedback on those, and you're going to get, some people will get them back. They'll want you to embellish them more, but an outline is to guide your writing. So you really have to have some substance in the outline you turn into your adjunct, so that they know where you're going with this paper, and it also helps guide you. So I would think that by now everybody has at least turned it in and maybe gotten some feedback, and you can continue to progress with that paper after your exam. What else is going on? Oh, I guess not too much. I know that everybody's just getting anxious, and I don't think you should. So I am going to put up some more extra articles that I found, some really current ones. There's one from a family practice journal about cancer screening and primary care, and we just, how appropriate, it just came out, and we just had all that material on cancer. And like I said in a previous email to you, that truly we are going to be taking care of more and more people who have been treated for cancers and really have to understand the process of how that can affect the body long term, because they are going to be showing up in your primary care cancer-free, but there are some end results of what can happen after a person has gone through cancers. And I think we see that in our young kids who are being treated and cured at the highest rates. Oh, and also, you know, just yesterday, I don't know how many of you heard, but now the American Cancer Society has now once again made different recommendations for women for breast cancer mammography and for even breast cancer exams. You know, they don't recommend self-exam anymore. They're now advocating for mammograms not to start till the age of 45 instead of 40. So this controversy and changes continue. Certainly other organizations have different thoughts and ideas. So a lot of different, you know, our healthcare, it just keeps changing daily. So there was a big article in the paper as well as I heard it on the news yesterday. So we have to always just keep abreast of all the changes in healthcare so we can stay current, because our patients come in and talk to us about these changes, and we have to at least have some knowledge, and we have to have evidence to base our decisions on for the patients. So there's a couple other articles I'm going to be sending your way that I found, and I do this often, and I don't mean that you have to quick read them, but I certainly think take a look at them, just like the genetics one I sent last week. I think it's important for us to always have an arsenal of information and resources. You might just print them off and put them away till you're done with school, but you've got them then. So other than that, I just have a little just very short little blurb here called Rewarding Your Diligence. And I think that all of you in this program really have to be diligent with what you're doing to get to where you're going. So here it goes. Long ago, there were 2 jars, each one carried by a king's water bearer on opposite ends of a long pole. One jar was perfectly made with no cracks or chips. The other was unglazed earthenware with a long, jagged crack at its base. Daily, the water bearer would walk to a river and fill both containers, then carry them to the king's palace. Once inside, the first jar offered its full contents into the king's cistern. The other had less to offer, since most of its contents had leaked through the crack during the journey. One day, the despondent cracked jar pled with the water bearer, "Please, sir, replace me. I'm a failure. I spill so much that my offering cannot compare to what the perfect jar brings, and I'm so ashamed." The water bearer smiled in response. "Take a look at the hill we climb each day," he said. The jar took a look. All along the path bloomed beautiful wildflowers. "I've been planting seeds as I walk up this hill," noted the water bearer, "and those flowers, you see, have grown from your water. Flowers that please the king and all his people. Like the jar in this tale, if you do your job diligently, you will be able to survey the landscape of your life and see flowers of faithfulness that you have grown. Not because you're perfect, but because you were faithful to your task." So, 2 Thessalonians 3 verse 13 says, "Never tire of doing what is right." So, I wish you a good weekend. You should have a lot of time. If you're a Wisconsinite, there's no Packer game. So you have a lot of time to study and enjoy time with your family, because you won't be focusing on our Packers. So I will have my voice hopefully back by next week, totally, all in one. And I hope you have a good week, and I wish you the best on the exam. Take a deep breath, and you got this. See ya.